Hey everyone, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle back with you here on a Wednesday. This will be an early lunchtime update. I got to get back out there and play in more of that snow. That's not the real reason. I just figured this was a good time to do it. I did a little round robin here this morning and looked at some of the snowfall totals. We're going to talk about that, plus the next wave of snow that's moving in, what that means for you, how much you're going to get, all that fun stuff. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching last couple of days as we talked about this upcoming storm system. It's been a doozy, to say the least. We've had some good amounts out there over central Oklahoma, finally. We've been getting the shaft for the last couple of events. It's nice to finally get our fair share, right? All right, I'll tell you what, let me show you a couple things to kickstart this off with. The first thing is some good news. So power outages. We're not having a lot of power outages out there across the state right now, which is great. We had one down here earlier south of east of Ardmore, I believe. There's like about 40 or so, but it looks like those have lifted. The one here east of Tulsa, only one reported at this point in time. OG&E was in the clear last I looked. So that's the good news here as far as power is concerned. That's the kind of winter storm you want. Now road conditions, however, been a little bit of a different story. Now keep in mind, if you want to know what the snow route is, by the way, you can get all this information on my website, aarontutleweather.com. I'm just on the data tab. You can get to this either on your PC, Mac, or on your iPad, iPhone, Android, whatever you want to use. But it's got the snow routes here for Oklahoma City that they kind of direct traffic along, where they treat the roads better. So if you're new here especially, or if you live here a long time, you know what the snow routes are. For example, I've lived here a long time. I don't even know what the snow routes are because I still got to go to work the same way I typically go. So I don't pay them a whole lot of attention, but it might be beneficial to you. And then we've got the snow condition, or the road condition maps, that was a little pun there, across the state where it's moderate, severe, or closed. And right now, most of it is moderate to even some severe here across southern, southwestern, northeastern Oklahoma. So this is a good condition for doing some traveling. You want to find out, how bad the roads are if they're closed. This map will show you as well. Plus, they have little cameras on here that you can click on from the drivers, the truck drivers that drive along these routes, and they'll take pictures and post them so you can see actually how the roads look. That's a really cool feature. And we can do that same thing here in Oklahoma City itself and also in Tulsa. Here's a look at Oklahoma City, and you can see the highways, for the most part, slow in some areas. Otherwise, many areas are good. And we can also click on the traffic cameras in each of these, and they'll show you the picture of the traffic. And there you can see along, looks like... we're at the interchange of 44. Traffic's moving along pretty good, and you can see how the snow is no longer on the roadways. It's melted. So this is kind of helpful for you as well if you live here in the Oklahoma City area. But what about Tulsa? And what about Lawton? Guess what? These guys, they're on here for you as well. So you just click the different source, and then once again you can get the traffic updates, and you can click on each one of these here in Tulsa. For example, down here in Broken Arrow, we'll click on this guy, and he's got a picture of some nice snow on the grass and on the cars, and looks like the roadways are doing fairly well. So take a look at that. It's at aarontutleweather.com. All right, now here's the big picture of things. Here's a look at that first wave that continues to move out of the state, heading on off now into Arkansas. So still progressing over northeastern Oklahoma, southwestern Missouri, northwestern Arkansas. It's that wintry mix of sleet, a little bit of freezing rain, and on the northern side of it, some snow. Tulsa's had a mixed bag of the sleet and the snow, and like I mentioned yesterday, on the southeast side of both Oklahoma City and the southeast side of Tulsa, you had to deal with a lot more sleet than just pure snow, and that kind of helped to lower your totals down. We can take a look at that. By the way, here's a look at, of course, temperatures on the map are in the 20s, but you see this down here, southwest of us? That's our second and final wave of snow gearing up here across the western parts of Texas and shoving on off to the north and east. Now, if you want more snow, you don't have to get too excited about it. If you don't like snow, don't get too excited about it, because this is going to amount to about half an inch to at most an inch and a half. We'll show you that here in a second. Here's a look at just a couple of the totals that happen to show up on the map here over central Oklahoma. A lot of these will show up for a while and they'll drop off, but there's several reports around 3 to 4 inches of snow. There's 3.5. There was 2.5. Let's see, there was 3. Over here in the eastern side, there's a couple that were up higher. There's 5 inches. There was a 6 that snuck in there. 4. Then now, again, the proper way to measure snow is to get out in the middle of an open area get a ruler, measure a couple of different regions, and then you kind of divide the average. So I don't know if everybody actually does that, but regardless, at least there's an attempt to get some snowfall amounts. Here in Tulsa, for example, on the parts of the east side, there was 3 inches. On the north side, though, they had 4. West side, I think, was there's 2.5. I thought I saw a report earlier higher than that. They varied quite a bit from one location to another. 1.5 though around Bixby, I think, or 1.8. And a fish at the airport, I think it was just over 1.5 inches of snow in Tulsa, which is a far cry from what the models were showing, which was like 7 inches. The models did horrible this event, as always. I've warned you about that. They cannot and never will be able to forecast snowfall amounts, so it's always going to be a best guess for that type of situation. No, there was an earthquake this morning in Minnetonka. How about that? Just a couple hours ago. 2.7 magnitude. Okay, so that's the big picture on how things are looking right now. So this batch of light snow is already starting to kind of influence central and southern Oklahoma. Very, very light. A little flurry activity. It'll gradually pick up. The heavier stuff is down around Velma, Ardmore, Wichita Falls. By the way, Ardmore got a little bit of ice with this deal, and I can show you that here on the maps. Now, first off, here's a look at ground temperatures. And you can see how we're into the lower 40s and even some upper 30s. So when you see temperatures like this, you think, well, that's too warm for the ground for snow to stick. Look out your window. It's not too warm. It sometimes will melt the first layer, but eventually the snow will overpower as long as you have enough falling from the sky. Now here's a look at where the potential power outages would have lied because of where the ice fell. And the ice is, we're talking about the freezing rain part, and that's where you see all these areas here that have no data. What this means, this is all the mesonet sites that have their anemometers frozen over from a little light coating of ice. And so that is pretty much where the models that indicated the ice band to form. So actually they did pretty good on that with a mixture of the sleet and freezing rain. So that forecast verified really good. The snow ended up being just about 1 inch higher than what the model went with last night on the ensemble run, which was 2 to 4 here in the metro, because it was on the higher end of that, and most of you, 3 to 4. Some of you snuck in there maybe a little bit higher than that, but it was a pretty good guess for the last minute, of these events. But I'm telling you, sometimes it's the best you can do. Now here's a look at the preliminary snowfall totals. And again, some of these aren't going to be verified, but hey, it gives you just a general idea. But dusting out here in northwestern Oklahoma, higher spots down here, 6 inches southwest of Lawton, little hot spot down there. Remember the big range of forecasted snow around here that's supposed to be around 8 inches of snow? Didn't happen. Remember last night I explained to you why. I spent a lot of time to explain why that was going to bust. It was all that sleet, so that's what happened with that situation. There's going to be some pockets, though, that'll show up, or somebody got lucky, because there were bursts of snow that did occur in this. If we look at this, is going to be too small for you to read, but I'll just read off a few of these. Let's see, Sayre 1 inch, Fort Cobb 4.8, Anadarko 2, Yukon 5, there you go, Calumet 3.8, Piedmont 3, Moore 4, Norman 4, which is surprising because you guys had a lot of sleet mixed in early on, so you're able to recover in time. But here's another report in Norman, 2.5. That's a huge difference from one part of Norman to another. Let's see, there's another Norman report, 3 miles south there, only 2 inches. So you can see as you go from the north side of Norman to the south side of Norman, your snowfall totals drop off considerably. They went from 4 inches on the north side to 1 inch on the south and southeast side because you guys had all that sleet mixed in, and it robbed you of your snow. That's how close of a call this was. But we talked about that last night ad nauseum. All right, Lawton's had about 4 inches of snow in parts of the city. Weatherford 2, Tuttle 4.5, Kingfisher 5, Chickasha 4 inches. There's another Tuttle report of 2. Let's see what else we got here. Holdenville, ooh, look at that. They got a burst of snow there, 4.5. Altus 3.8, Kingfisher 2, Okarche 2. Let's see, Hobart check in at 1.7. Let's see, we've got Hera at 4 inches of snow. Marshall 4, Guthrie 3.5, Newcastle 3.5. Let's see here, Sulphur 2 to 2.5. Edmond varied. My house was an even flat 4, not a flake more, but I think some areas on the north side got around, and northeast side got around almost 5. There's 4.8 officially, 4.5 in parts of southwest Oklahoma City. War Acres a little over 4. Let's see, there's a northwest Edmond, 3.9. Boy, they must have been just across the street from me. Let's see, the Village 3.7, Oklahoma City Southwest there's 3.2, Bethany 2.5, Midwest City 2.5. So in the metro, really the 2 to 4 ended up really panning out for the most part pretty good. So that was a pretty decent forecast. Stillwater 4. Let's see here, 8 to 3. Surprising. You guys had a big mix of a winter mess, a little ice and the freezing rain. Let's see. It's always hard when you have to try to do the handoff, the little handshake from one transition type to another. Frederick 7.5, Tipton 5 inches, Granville 3.5. What else we got? Seymour 3 to 5. Crowell, let's see, there's 4, almost 6 in Ford County. Let's see, Knox County, this is probably the highest. This is southwest Oklahoma, 8 inches to 5 inches between the two reports. And let's see, Wichita and Shepherd Air Force Base, 2.5. And Vernon coming in between 4 to 6.5. So even in the same city, you can have dramatically different reports of snowfall total. So that's a good old-fashioned Oklahoma winter snowstorm. It just makes me smile, right? Okay, so where am I going with this? Is this not? That's last night's forecast for the ice and sleet, and I showed you on the map kind of where that lined up. So actually, that was pretty good. If we combine this map with this map, it did really well. Okay, so let's move on to, we'll do this map right here. All right, so that's snow down the south. Where's it going? How much is it going to produce? I'm glad you asked. So here it is. This is the batch of snow showing up in the model data. It is moving to the northeast. We'll say goodbye to this first wave that's moving on out. So here we go through time for the next couple of hours, and you can see how it's slowly starting to average up. And by the time we head to about 10 o'clock, it's pretty much out of the state. There might be a few lingering snowflakes here, far northeast Oklahoma, but that's going to do it as far as the snowfall is concerned. You can see amounts here, half inch here in the southern eastern sides of Oklahoma City. Looks like you might pick up just about 1 inch of snow out of this next wave. There is 1.5 inches down here near Holdenville and out east of there, about ½ inch toward McAllister. Down in Lawton, just about 1 inch, especially south of View. Let's see, Ardmore, you'll pick up probably at least a ½ inch out of this. Otherwise, that is the next round of snow from this final system as the next piece of energy kicks on out. And there will be a little bit of freezing rain with this, kind of scattered here across parts of southeast Oklahoma, but very, very light, talking about just a few hundredths, so nothing very measurable. So the snow would be the bigger measure of this event for the second wave. And like I said, anywhere from probably ½ inch to about 1.5 inches would be the average over a swath that's very similar track that it was before. Just kind of moving on along the I-44 corridor, but south of it as far as the snow band, the heavier parts. And that's what I had here for you. So hope that was fun, educational, entertaining, all that and more. I appreciate the guys sending me the photos. I was going to pull those up here. Let's see what map I'm going to pull up on Facebook. Let me see if I can do it. If it'll let me. That's why Facebook is troublesome because it's hard to show everybody's pictures. So let me show you what I'm talking about. All right. So for one, on my website, let's go to the website first. You go to the news tab. There's blog, national weather highlights, Twitter weather pros. These are meteorologists and I follow on social media on the Twitter side that post interesting stuff when it comes to weather. So I have a panel of them that you can look at. But otherwise, on the social media side, if you do a hashtag AT's weather, it'll show up here on this collage of posts. And there'll end up being a lot of pictures if you guys will tag it on a public domain. So like your Instagram, or if you post to Facebook that's not friends only and you do it public, then it'll show up. Twitter, it'll show up. But you have to do hashtag AT's weather, and then those pictures will show up here, because otherwise what we have to do in the interim is I can post mine like I did here this morning, and there's the picture of 4 inches here in my backyard, and then you guys can of course make your funny comments and then post your pictures and videos here, which is really neat, and then give me some of your snow reports. I mean, some great shots. I'd love to see these on a big collage so we can all just look together. But like, Cindy's got a great one there in Stillwater. Elizabeth's got one in Tuttle. Thaddeus has got one. Robin checked in. Stephanie's in the house here. Kyle Brotherton, what's up, brother? He's got a nice pool shot. Why don't you dip into that pool? Let me know how that works out for you. Lisa's got one. Stephanie's looking good. Renee, listen, you did not get that much snow, but wouldn't that be something? We don't live in Canada. April, she's got a measuring tape out. Look at her go to town. That's just under 5 inches in her place. 4 inches of still water. Jennifer's got several. So I love seeing all these photos, by the way. Always post your photos because they're the best. Ashley in Tahlequah is posting her dirt. Oklahoma dirt. Kids are happy, Sarah says. That's awesome. Kimberly, Barlesville, she's pumped. Kansas got some snow. They're checking in. Thanks, Brenda. Amanda's got some snow here in Seminole showing out. Look at this little patio set from Angie. 4 inches in Edmond. That's looking good. And well, it just keeps on going. So you guys did a really good job at posting all your pictures and stuff. So when you do get a chance, though, just try it out. I just want to see if that works. I haven't really tested it. It's built into the site. But until you guys start doing hashtag ATsWorld in your public posts, I won't know if it actually works. I mean, I've tested it where it seems like it works, but, on an event like this, it'd be really cool to see. And then let's see what else. So let me real quick look at a couple of your comments. Informal greeting on YouTube chat. Awesome. You are always tipping. I appreciate that. And that's really cool of you. So on YouTube, they do super chat where you can tip your content creator, which is really neat. That's a neat function. I wish Facebook would do that. Get up to speed there, Facebook. All these platforms competing with one another for content creators, which is good for people like me that provide all this stuff. It gives you guys plenty of opportunities. So let's see, news unit on Google here wants to know, do you take questions? Yes, I do, as long as I can catch them. Sometimes it's hard. Why is the storm track so messed up this year compared to normal Panhandle Hood cyclones? So every year, there's not one weather event that's ever like another. We have what we call analogs, which we try to take similar events and compare them. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. But every situation is unique. So it's not really a strange pattern. It's just every now and then you'll get a good one. And when we get a good one like this, we get some great snow out of it. Usually Facebook. So informal's on top of it. Jason chimes in. We were 4 to 5 inches in southwest Oklahoma City, and he's going to do karate in the snow. All right, post a picture or video of that, please. Tag it AT's weather. All right, let me jump on over to Twitter for the Periscope tie-in. By the way, you guys, thanks for watching over there as well. No more snow for me. Make it happen, King Tuttle. You're hilarious. You're on every platform at the same time. You're funny. But guess what? You're still getting snow. Fair share is 0. 2 inches in Depew. All right. Any chance schools are closed tomorrow? There's always a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. All right. So you know what? Honestly, I wouldn't close the schools, so I'm going to say no, because the roads are already improving in most areas. Now, the problem is with the buses and getting out of the neighborhoods, and kind of the neighborhoods are usually the last place for all that snow and stuff to melt, and that's what they kind of base it on. So just so you know, that's kind of more how that goes. All right. So Wes, no, more snow for you. Tiffany, I'm on my private Facebook group page here for my patrons. If you want to be a patron, just sign up to be a Facebook fan supporter or join my Patreon or Subscribe Star. Link is in the video, and I'll get you access to this page. Hey, Rhonda. Christine, East Norman got about 3 inches. Yeah, Christine, it was a wild range there in Norman today. Mary, Nebraska. All right, in the house. Good. I'm glad you get a taste of Nebraska's snow, finally. Mary says the kids are loving it. Awesome. Made some white chicken chili to enjoy on our snow day. You're a teacher. Oh, I bet you are happy for that snow day. What are you washing that chicken chili down with? There's a lot of teachers that are really letting loose today. Let's see. Karen, late to the party as usual. Girl, what's up with you? Crystal, so depressed. Southeast Oklahoma didn't get any. Well, I know. We can't get everybody, please, unfortunately. It's hard to get snow in Southeast Oklahoma. Let's see what else we got. Tony says about 5 inches or so at my house. Woo, nice. Karen also has 5. Are we supposed to get more? So if you're late, I did show a map. We are going to get another dusting to about an inch and a half, depending on where you are. More in the south central and parts of east central Oklahoma than here, say, in Oklahoma City itself. anywhere from a half inch to maybe an inch from the north side of town to the south side. I know kids are loving it, right? How many of you are going to make some snow ice cream for the kids? I used to make that all the time. All the time. I used to make that all the time, all 3 times it snowed when I was a kid. We went nuts with it. All right, let me go to the main page here and see if you guys have any quick questions for me. Lots of likes, loves, and hearts on the emojis. That's awesome. So Pam wants to know if we're getting more snow. Yes, we are. Someone's a fan of the scruff. I actually kind of dialed it back today. It got a little bushy yesterday. Got a little busy. So kind of did a little trim this morning. I may just eventually shave it off. I'm just playing for a while. Let's see. Did it say what El Reno got? I miss Canadian County. Lisa. Oh, yes, we talked about El Reno. Do I still have it up? I don't know if I do. But it was a few inches. Let's see here. I can hear all the kids screaming and hollering and yelling out my window. They're all excited. El Reno, El Reno, El Reno. Let me scroll through. I know I said it. I think I said it. Maybe I didn't say it. Maybe it didn't snow in El Reno. Maybe you can be the first report. I don't think I did say it. Get out there and measure it, girl. Come on. We're all waiting. I'll wait. We'll wait for you. All right. Sleet is melting in Ardmore. Lauren, you guys never got any snow down there, did you? Just sleet. That happens. You'll get a little bit from this next wave. So, yep, we have a second round. And is it puny? I don't know who said it was puny, but it's a light dusting of snow, yes. What about driving from Tulsa to the Celine Dion concert? I'm surprised they didn't cancel that. I'm just teasing. I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's see. Remember, the roads are actually getting pretty decent already, and of course they'll be treated. Now, the problem is it's still into the, temperature-wise, we're still into the upper 20s. So, especially at nighttime, that's when the roads will try to refreeze. Anything that's liquid on the water, so the snow runoff from melting. So, you're going to be some black ice and stuff. So, it's going to be, it'll be slippery in spots, but it's doable. The problem is sometimes it's doable to where, you get that false confidence. Everything's just fine. Then all of a sudden you hit a spot. So it's almost good where it's just all snow and iced over. That way you constantly know it's there and you're driving like this really slow. Versus the kind you get that, this isn't so bad. You just bebopping along and then off you go. All right. So Angela, time frame for round 2 is underway. It's already occurring in southern Oklahoma and some flurries heading up here into central Oklahoma. So it'll continue to move on in slowly. It's a very slow, light system, so it's not like you're just going to notice a huge wave of just, crazy snowfall. This is a different disturbance with that. Not as much moisture to work with on this go around. Let's see. Best weatherman. Oh, Veronica, I take offense to that. Just kidding. I like that. It's nice. Road conditions tomorrow morning. Remember to check my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com. You can see the road conditions map. And check out the traffic cameras so you'll be able to see how traffic's actually moving along. And you can find all this information at your fingertips within seconds. In other words, you won't have to turn on the TV and watch 30 minutes of news for them to do a traffic segment. Sit there for 15 minutes till the traffic segment comes on. You can spend 30 seconds, get what you need, get off, and get on with your day. Because that'll tell you everything you need to know. All right, let's see. A lot of you are just saying, what about this, that, and the other? So the snowfall mounts and will still keep coming in to the Weather Service, and then they'll keep updating the list. But that's what we had so far. But the general consensus is 2 to 4 inches here in Oklahoma City. There was some couple areas that got us a tad higher than that, and there was a tad higher than that in very few remote areas, but most places were in that range for this snow event. All right, so I just scanned through a bunch of comments. I wish I could answer them all, but there's just so many. Not that that's a bad thing, there's just too many. My brain can't process all that. So, okay. So I was just doing that just to get caught up, and I think that was it. Again, if you're late to the party, we talked about some snow coming in. This is temperatures you can see are in the 30s, eastern Oklahoma, and then 20s here in central Oklahoma. This white stuff is the light snow flurry activity coming on in from the south. But if you look beyond that, down here west of Ardmore, you've got much heavier snows where the deeper blues starting to show up. And this is just the beginning stage of the second round. On into Wichita, and then back down here to Stanford and Abilene, Snyder, so West Texas. So this is the other piece of the storm system that's going to work its way northward in Oklahoma during the afternoon and evening hours. So the bulk of the what we could call the heavier stuff isn't going to really occur until later today. This little flurry activity isn't going to do anything. It's just going to be there. I could show you. That's the one thing I guess I didn't show you, which I could. All right, so this is kind of how that model shows that batch of snow out southwest. See how it just starts to kind of shrink and the coverage into more of that southwest northeast band as we go every hour, but it's kind of consistent here over that same region. And then just hour after hour, just really light snow moving on through. And then the tail end of it, this is by the time we head into 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Let's see, there's midnight. It's just now wrapping up here in northeast Oklahoma. So there you go. Through about midnight is when this snow is going to transverse the state. And even though it'll be very, very light, since it's going to be there for several hours, you get enough of that very, very light snow to eventually add up, and that's why the models are anywhere from a ½ inch to 1.5 inches. If you're in this deeper corridor, this very narrow, you're more toward the center, you get the 1.5 inches. If you're on the outskirts, you get the ½ inch kind of a deal. So Tulsa actually gets some pretty decent secondary snow from this, so you guys should get 1.5 inches out of this the way the tracks seem to be lining up. And then east of Norman, probably Seminole County, little sweet spot down here, probably get 1.5 inches. So there's a little sweet spot south of 44 in this area that should get some pretty good snow totals compared to the rest. And then you've been in southwest Oklahoma, guys around the lot and stuff, you guys may also get a pretty good little burst. And Ardmore, you're just on the cusp. So you should get some, at least ½ an inch out of it. So maybe you can get 1 inch or so to build enough to build a snowman. That'd be nice. But there you go. Okay, listen, I'm going to take off for the rest of the day and enjoy this snow day, and I got work to do, so work, always work. But you guys enjoy yourself and play nice with the kids. Send them outside, keep them out there. When I was younger, now it wasn't so cold, Mom would send us outside and then lock the door. And go play and don't come back until it's dinner time. Now that's a little extreme, but it was a lesson to learn to get out of the house instead of being cooped up indoors all day. Plus, I think it was for her own sanity. Now, whether or not that was the proper thing to do, I don't know. I did live and survive, and I really didn't mind it. So I guess it was all worked out for everybody. It was a win-win, even though it could really go really wrong. So I'm not saying I advise that. I'm just saying that was an option that I was implored upon back in my younger years. All right, I'm out of here. You guys have a great afternoon. We'll talk again soon.